Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe. We have been following her path for years. It is a tale of loss, tenacity, and rediscovering love in the second phase of life. With a picture-perfect marriage that was shown to millions of devoted viewers on TLC, Amy Roloff, the matriarch of the Roloff dynasty, appeared to have finally found her happily ever after with Chris Marek. But what if that image isn't real? What if they are practiced smiles? The love, a show, and the house they share is a stage rather than a real house. Tonight, we reveal what could. The largest cover-up in the history of reality TV. A source close to the little people, Big World Production has given us a string of explosive revelations. The fairy tale is a facade, according to one source. This irate ex-crew member has revealed a revelation that is so startling that it alters everything. They claim that the on-screen love between the couple is a meticulously staged delusion. This is the main assertion of the source, which I am directly quoting. On set, everyone is aware that it's the biggest space. They don't share a residence. Not at all. They have different wings of the house of their own. She has hers and he has his. For the cameras, they meet in the center. Cut, the director shouts, and they return to their own lives. It's a commercial agreement. Different life, different wings. A marriage that doesn't exist outside of the filming. Everything we believe to be true about Amy and Chris might be completely destroyed by this shocking revelation. This has reportedly been confirmed by the makers. Agreement off the record, in an attempt to protect the mystery of their famous marriage. However, the truth manages to find its way out. You will doubt everything you've seen on the show because this plot is so stunning and full of unexpected turns. We are going to dissect the evidence in detail. This amazing notion is supported by social media forensics, on-screen narratives, and subtle hints. The network doesn't want you to know this story. If you're prepared and you think people should see the entire narrative, do me a favor today and join us as we take a close look at what's actually happening behind the scenes. Make sure the notification bell is switched on and that you are subscribed to LPBW update before hitting that mighty like button. You won't want to miss a moment of this investigation or any of our upcoming updates as the story progresses. Okay, let's get started. We must first comprehend our source in order to comprehend how we got here. We'll call the former crew member who provided us with this information. Alex, who had full access to the Roloff world until lately. A mid-level production assistant, Alex was constantly on set and had access to the private moments before and after the cameras rolled. Our informants have informed us that Alex was fired from the project a few weeks ago for allegedly unexplained reasons. Although budgetary cuts were cited as the official explanation, Alex thinks the true reason was that they saw and knew too much and weren't prepared to play the game. The on-set atmosphere was chillingly detailed by our informant. Alex maintains that it is a cast and not a family, despite their claims that the production team is encouraged to feel like a member of the family. According to the source, you become a liability if you don't agree with the official narrative and don't pretend to be one of them. Alex continued by recounting a normal morning on the set, where he saw the director having to give the couple specific instructions on how to behave as a married couple. According to the source, they heard instructions such, "All right, Chris, let's start the scene with Amy hugging you, and let's make it look natural, guys." The on-screen warmth we witness is actually painstakingly choreographed. Consider the ramifications of that statement. A director having to coach a purportedly loving married couple to perform a basic act of affection. According to our source, this was not an isolated incident, but rather a daily occurrence. Alex's testimony is the key that unlocks. We decided to go back and rewatch the most recent seasons with this new separate lives filter applied, and what we found is chilling. Let's start with body language. Experts will tell you that the body doesn't know how to lie. You can say the right words, you can read from a script, but your posture, your gestures, the physical. Look at this scene from season 24. They are talking about plans for a family get-together. At first glance, it appears to be a typical domestic scene, but if you look closely, you can see that Amy is gripping the edge of the kitchen island with white knuckles, which is a classic sign of tension and a self-calming or anchoring gesture that people use when they are uncomfortable or stressed. Now, look at Chris. His arms are crossed for almost the whole conversation. Now, let's examine their eye contact, or rather, the profound lack of it. as Chris is speaking while his gaze is fixed on a point somewhere over Amy's shoulder, seemingly addressing the room itself. Amy is focused with an almost painful intensity on the notepad in front of her, and when their eyes do meet, it's brief, a micro-expression that lasts. Chris is holding his wife tightly over his chest, a textbook defensive posture that creates a physical barrier between them. Here is another telling example. This was framed as a touching scene where they contemplate their marriage and their future, but just look at the geography of this sofa. It's not a small piece of furniture, but the space between them is a masterclass in avoidance. Less than a second before one of them breaks away. In a truly connected, intimate couple, you would expect to see prolonged, comfortable gazes, the kind that silently say, "I'm with you." Our insider, Alex, commented with startling specificity on this very scenario, revealing that these couch scenes were notoriously difficult to film because the couple's natural inclination was to sit far apart. The scene is so expansive that it's practically a third character, with a large decorative pillow sitting squarely in the middle, acting as a soft but very clear barrier. The source told us the couch scenes were, when the camera was on them, they would comply, looking all lovey-dovey, but in a stunning detail, Alex added that the very second the director yelled cut, the couple would quote spring apart like two magnets repelling each other. Alex also described a behind-the-scenes ritual where a producer would have to step in, physically move the pillow out of the way, and explicitly tell them to scooch closer for the take. We examined more than 30 key scenes from the last 2 seasons, and this pattern of physical distance, closed-off posture, lack of sustained eye contact, in the presence of physical barriers is consistent in over 80 of their supposedly unscripted interactions. The evidence is right there, hiding in plain sight for anyone willing to look. Therefore, the closeness we see is manufactured. The distance is their natural state. This is not a one-off occurrence or a simple misinterpretation. Let's break down the alleged division of the property. Our insider claims that the house is unofficially divided into 2 distinct self-contained zones, the Amy wing and the Chris wing. This leads us to the most explosive part of the leak, the separate wings theory. It sounds dramatic, almost theatrical, like something out of a Gothic novel, but it becomes unsettlingly plausible when you look at the known layout and the last screen usage of their home. The Chris wing allegedly comprised what was the main bedroom, the large adjoining bathroom, her personal office where we see her working on her cookbooks and other business ventures, and primary day-to-day access to the main kitchen, which is her domain. This is the heart of the home that is presented on TV, and our source claims that this is the main portion of the house that we are most familiar with from the show. The source claims that the wing, which was originally intended to be a large guest suite or an in-law apartment, has its own bedroom, a separate smaller bathroom, and, most importantly, its own private entrance from the side of the house near the garage, allowing entry and exit without traversing the main living areas. This wing is also said to contain the man cave or den, where we frequently see Chris in his solitary scenes surrounded by his motorcycle memorabilia and other hobbies. The common areas, the main living room, the dining room, the back patio are regarded as neutral territory, or as our source sarcastically referred to it, the set. How did they manage their on-camera lives from these disparate wings? According to our source, it was as impersonal as a business meeting. Alex claimed that they would text each other in the morning with logistical information, not loving good mornings. For example, a typical text might read, "Filming in the kitchen at 9 a.m. They would then meet on the set, have their makeup done, and change to the happy couple Amy and Chris. The source described 2 co-workers showing up for work, stating that after a scene, Amy would withdraw to her office and Chris would return to his wing to work on the garage. The source's conclusion about the dynamic was bleak. They were more like courteous roommates than husband and wife. This theory explains a lot, including the formality and stiffness we occasionally see on camera and why they frequently appear to be filmed in. Think about the narrative we're sold. Chris, the laid-back, supportive guy who gives Amy her space. Amy, the independent, strong woman who doesn't need a man underfoot 24/7. The show frames it as a healthy aspect of a couple with their own hobbies and interests, but this theory suggests it's not about interests, but rather infrastructure. An infrastructure built for a separation. Social media trail is a blazing siren in the night. In the modern world of reality television, a couple's joint social media presence is a vital part of maintaining the brand. However, a deep forensic dive into Amy and Chris's individual accounts reveals a consistent and telling pattern of what we are seeing. The show has weaponized their supposed strengths as a couple, their independence, and use it to conceal what might be the fundamental truth of their arrangement. Let's examine a case study from just 3 weeks ago, which is a picture of Amy's Instagram on a lovely Saturday afternoon with the caption, "Enjoying this peaceful weekend in the garden." Such a serene day, ideal for it. A sweet, naive post. A scene of peaceful domestic harmony is depicted. Chris, however, uploaded this to his account an hour later. He is obviously miles away from home as he and a companion go on a lengthy motorcycle excursion. There's nothing better than the open road on a Saturday. Hesh. Freedom. Freedom. Isn't that an intriguing word choice? These two posts are meaningless on their own. Even if people in relationships have different interests, there is an obvious trend when you look at the timeline over several months. Seldom are they photographed together in unguarded, impromptu, and casual settings. The great bulk of their couple's pictures are shot in costume during filming days and have the polished, well-lit, and exquisitely framed appearance of a promotional photo shoot. Their individual posts feel much more regular and authentic though. They are essentially recording two quite different lifestyles that only come together for work-related reasons. Over the previous 6 months, we examined their Instagram activity. They were featured together in just 12 posts out of a total of over 80 posts. 9 of the 12 have a direct connection to advertising a forthcoming season or episode of the program. The math is self-evident. For work purposes, they present themselves as a cohesive team, yet they're personal. A digital footprint depicts two people traveling in parallel but noticeably different directions. This takes us to our insider's most important piece of information. Alex wasn't shocked when we showed him this social media analysis. According to the insider, social media is a requirement of their contract. Therefore, it's all intentional. According to Alex, the couple has a certain number of couple postings they must make, particularly in the weeks when the show is broadcast. The public display of affection is not spontaneous. Our source claims that everything is scheduled. It's advertising. It's not the actual world. This brings us to the most crucial query in the whole plot. Why? Why endure such a complex, emotionally draining, and dishonest charade? Why stage a marriage? The solution seems to be a complicated blend of branding, emotion, and pragmatism, as it so frequently is in these circumstances. We have come up with 3 basic explanations as to why Amy and Chris would consent to uphold this purported facade. The first theory, the financial. Essential. The most obvious and cynical motivation is this one. A television powerhouse is little people, big world. In the erratic world of reality TV, its more than 15-year tenure on the air is impressive. Being the main stars of such a long-running show undoubtedly comes with hefty salaries, appearance fees, and other privileges. For the past few years, Amy's whole plot has focused on her journey after the divorce and her search for a new, secure, and contented existence in her marriage to Chris. A separation, or worse, a second divorce in the public eye, would completely upend the show's plot. It might very well be the series' demise. The producers and the network have a huge financial stake in continuing the happily ever after narrative. A public breakup might spell the end of Amy and Chris's extremely substantial and steady income. According to this theory, the distinct wings arrangement is a practical economic choice, a cooperative endeavor to safeguard their mutual financial gain. The second theory is brand protection. Amy Roloff has effectively and meticulously developed her own personal brand outside of the TLC salary. She is a culinary personality, philanthropist, motivational speaker, and author. The foundation of her brand is the representation of a strong, resilient, and relatable woman who has triumphed over hardship to achieve security and happiness. It would be disastrous for that well-planned couple to experience a second unsuccessful marriage under the severe scrutiny of the public. Created a brand. By preserving the illusion of a healthy marriage, she safeguards her professional identity, but critics would characterize it as a personal failure, undermining the very image of strength and stability she has worked so hard to construct. Chris, on the other hand, has grown to be a cherished, albeit supporting character in this universe. His reputation as the laid-back kind man who saved Amy's heart would be damaged by a messy breakup. The family factor is the third theory. Possibly the most empathetic and comprehensible theory is this one. Amy had already gone through one extremely difficult and well-publicized divorce, which had a significant and noticeable impact on her children and the dynamics of the entire family. For years, the main drama of the show revolved around the awkward family get-togethers, the painful split of the farm, and the tension between her and Matt. Could it be that Amy and Chris have come to an agreement to spare the family, and particularly the grandchildren, from going through that kind of public upheaval once more? After the wedding, they might have realized that their daily compatibility wasn't what they had hoped. However, they decided on a different course rather than a spectacular breakup. A route founded on a profound respect for one another and the family. Accordingly, their arrangement is a mature, if unorthodox, choice to maintain harmony and present a solid, cohesive front for the kids and grandkids rather than a cynical money grab. For the sake of family harmony, they are co-parenting a public persona. All three explanations could be part of the truth. A complicated network of professional branding and financial necessity. Management, as well as a sincere wish to shield their loved ones from any public drama. Whatever the cause, the evidence we've looked at suggests a startling conclusion. It's possible that the marriage we see on TV is a skillfully constructed delusion. This leads us back to the puzzle's most recent and concerning piece. This deal has been confirmed by producers, according to our first report. What we mean by this, let's be extremely clear. TLC has not made this comment public. I never come across a news release that admits this. There is no verbal confirmation. It's working. Our primary source, Alex, has been consulted by secondary and tertiary sources involved in the production. The senior producers are not only fully aware of the issue, but are actively trying to hide it, according to Alex's first description of the open secret on the set. Our source, Alex, supports this, stating that the producers are the ones who created the illusion. Alex was adamant about the process, stating that filming days are specifically planned to create a bank of happy couple scenes that can be edited into the show and sprinkled throughout the season to maintain the plot. The source then clarified this point, telling us, they know. Of course they know. They orchestrate it. And what would happen if any conflict or stress from real life appeared on camera? According to Alex, the procedure is quick and obvious. After turning off the cameras, the team is informed, we're not shooting that. The last devastating accusation made by the insider was that the producers were no longer recording reality. They're making it. This is what the producer confirmation is for. Their behaviors, the way they craft scenes of affection, the way they meticulously edit out any genuine tension, and the way they construct a whole season's plot around a reality they purportedly know to be untrue all confirm their internal recognition of the situation. The cover-up itself contains the confirmation. Thus, going forward every time you see a sweet moment on the porch swing or hear Chris say something encouraging, you have to question yourself, is this real? As you watch them laughing together in the kitchen. Or am I viewing a scenario that has been res-hot 3 times, with a producer off camera encouraging them to appear as though they are in love, to touch, to smile? What does this mean for us viewers? A mass of circumstantial evidence that is incredibly persuasive is provided to us. We have a production insider's complete story. We possess a distinct pattern of fake tenderness and aloof body language on screen. Our social media presence shouts, separation. Additionally, we have a reasonable and realistic house plan that would enable 2 individuals to live together but completely apart. Is this the most egregious fraud in contemporary reality television? Are we misinterpreting Amy and Chris as 2 really private individuals in a very unusual but nonetheless affectionate relationship? Or are they performers in their own real-life show's last season of decay, waiting for the last curtain to fall, confined by agreements and expectations? Right now, the facts is still kept under wraps and protected by strict non-disclosure agreements. However, the facade's flaws are starting to show. The story we've all been told for years is starting to fall apart as the leaks emerge. Watching Little People, Big World will never be the same again, that much is certain. The vacant spot on the sofa will be visible to you. You'll see the brief, ungainly gaze. Make contact. You'll doubt each and every hug. I'll hand it up to you, the devoted viewers, the jurors now. What are your thoughts? Have you previously observed these indicators? Now, is this all a crazy conspiracy theory? Or do you think the insider's claim is reliable? Please share your specific opinions in the space provided for comments below. A vital component of our continuous inquiry are your observations, thoughts, and personal theories. As a community, let's work this out. Additionally, if you wish to stay, please make sure you have subscribed to LPBW Update and have those notifications enabled in addition to this breaking article. We are currently seeking additional information, and we will promptly notify you of any developments. This is by no means the end of the story.